Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I'm said host Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the latest Xbox news for the week of July 17th, 2025, including following the bombshell news of massive Xbox layoffs recently, we now head into a slower news week with smaller stories and dive deeper into our thoughts and feelings following this recent shift that is beginning to take shape over at Xbox. All that and more. On this week in Xbox history, in the year 2012, 13 years ago, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD was released for Xbox Live Arcade for the Xbox 360. Hey, isn't that so coincidental? Isn't that such great timing since everyone's been playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 plus 4 remaster, whatever the fuck they call it, on Game Pass lately. Hey guys, welcome to Xbox On. Of course, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, the Xbox Live version, was re-released on Xbox Live Arcade. It was a digital release in the 360. And the port or remaster was done by Robomodo, a company that is no longer around because 3 years after they released this game, they would create Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, which was a major flop, horribly reviewed, horrible sales, just huge bomb of a game, and it tanked them, and now they're gone. But people, I never played the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD version. People said that one was pretty decent. I know the reviews for it were like, yeah, it's good, you know? So, I don't know. I can't speak to it personally, but of course, I played the original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on PlayStation 1 a whole lot back when I was a kid, and then I got it again on Nintendo 64 because I don't know why you do those things when you're a kid, and I enjoyed it a whole lot less there, but still enjoyed it a lot. I liked it better on PlayStation. And then I played it again a few years ago when we got that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 plus 2 remaster. What was that? Is that 2021? God, how long has it been? 2022? 21? 2000? I don't know. But anyway, Tony Hawk, it's a Tony Hawk week. I've been playing some Tony Hawk this past week. We'll talk about it. Don't you worry about that. You guys, welcome to Xbox On Podcast. I'm glad we're getting Tony Hawk back. In fact, I've been listening to a lot of my favorite 90s, 2000s, like LA hip hop and punk rock and all that shit, like music artists I was turned on to by growing up playing games like Tony Hawk and Guitar Hero and things like that. So it's been a fun little nostalgic week for me with the what am I trying to say? Fucking I don't know. With the music selection on my commutes to work and whatnot. New game, different playlist, but not a bad one. I'm happy with it. Why not? Anyway, guys, notable game releases this week. There's two. I don't care about either of them, but someone cares about them, and for you, I am happy. The first one being Dungeons & Dragons Neverwinter Nights 2 Enhanced Edition, which is apparently getting meh reviews, which I don't know why it would or wouldn't, but it's a port or remaster done by Aspyr, who do all the Star Wars remasters and ports and stuff, so they should have done at least a competent job. They tend to do pretty good. I'm playing one of their remasters right now on Switch, but anyway, no more to say about that. We're not going to give Dungeons & Dragons that level of attention on the show. And then the other game is RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business, which I think is such a fucking awesome name for a standalone DLC. So this is an expansion, DLC, standalone, additional content for RoboCop Rogue City, which came out, what was that, 2 years ago now? And people really liked that game. Apparently that was a pretty well-received, decently fun RoboCop video game, which is awesome. It's like, hey, good for RoboCop fans. That's always what I'm clamoring for. Some nice AA kind of budgety, licensed, fun game that's, you know, a video game first and an experience second, and understands the property in which it's borrowing from, but knows how to make a fun video game that doesn't take itself too seriously. I like that. So good for you, RoboCop fans. Hopefully this additional content is just as good, if not better. But guys, those are our notable game releases of the week. And with that, I just want to open this week's podcast with a little comment from Sam Frito, who wrote this in while I was recording the show last week. So just as a make good, let me read it now. It says, hey, sorry for a second comment that's in relation to last week, but the world is too adjusted to not give a fuck. There are so few movie in fast food collaboration efforts. Dairy Queen is handling Superman. My Batman Forever Riddler clear glass coffee mug weeps. Who is handling the Fantastic Four first steps? U-Haul? Is our once Happy Meal economy so screwed that we can't have nice things? Amazing Spider-Man at McDonald's gave me Emma Stone's diary. Which was weird for an adult to drive through and beg for. Jesse, wisest Zordon there is. What the fuck is going on? I mean, it's everything. It's the same thing that's just affecting the toy industry at large. Is that the price of cheap plastic goods are going up because the cost of manufacturing and plastic and oil and shit like that is up, and everything is up, and inflation and everything sucks. That's why. I didn't know about this. So you're saying that the toys for the Happy Meal toys for Superman are at Dairy Queen. Let me look this up. I thought I saw a Dairy Queen ad recently, and there was like a Superman Blizzard or something, right? Yeah, here it is. It's a cake batter cookie dough Blizzard, which is fine. That doesn't interest me at all. But yeah, I see they got some Superman cups and things like that. I don't see toys though. I'm not seeing toys. Let me see. Let me try this. Superman Dairy Queen toys. Oh boy, there aren't any toys. What the fuck? Yeah, it's just like theming on the cups in the bag, and they got the special Blizzard. That does suck ass. Okay, I'm with you, man. Right now, McDonald's is having the weirdest collection of Happy Meal toys right now. Right now, I think their run of Happy Meal toys, it's just a collection of miniature figurines of things that represent McDonald's from over the years. So it'll be like a McDonald's cash register, a McDonald's trash can, a McDonald's paycheck for $45 because you're lucky if you make any fucking money working for this company. Whatever. My girlfriend was like freaking out about it, and she made us go to a McDonald's, not to eat, just to ask if they had one of the toys in particular, because it was like the little Halloween boo bucket, trick or treat bucket thing, but it's like a tiny little miniature of it. I'm like, why would we pay $1, $2 to go get this little fucking finger-sized miniature when it's like when I was a kid, you went to McDonald's, you got Happy Meals. Do you guys remember in the early 2000s when they did the Sonic video game Happy Meals? They were like the little Tiger Electronics video game, little handheld toys. Like, that's fucking sick. Remember in the 90s when McDonald's did Beanie Babies and Legos and shit like that? Like, fuck, even like 2004 when Spider-Man 2 came out, they did like Spider-Man toys. There was one that was like a Doc Ock tentacle, and you'd squeeze it and then it would make a flying disc pop out. You could get like a Spider-Man glove, or you get all this cool shit, dude. I feel like Happy Meal toys used to be so badass. And I'm with you. Honestly, this is my constant bitching and moaning about how fun, schlocky, double A licensed movie video games, how that's gone away. That is kind of happening in tandem with like kids movie Happy Meal toys kind of going away. Not entirely, because when we went to McDonald's to get whatever the fuck my girlfriend was trying to get there, I noticed that the Happy Meal toy they had just come off of, because they still had a couple ads for it up, was toys for that new Pixar movie, Elio, which I can't believe I haven't seen that yet. But anyway, they had ads up for that. So I guess they still do it sometimes, but I don't know, man. When I was a kid, it was like Shrek toys, Spider-Man toys, Lord of the Ring toys, Superman toys. It was just, constantly something exciting. And it wasn't just the license that you remember when they did Pokemon toys at Burger King in like 1999? That was crazy. Those were so good. And like the Pokeball that they had to recall because kids were dying and choking on it. And I remember the recall commercial they were playing on air. And I remember just sitting there as like a 5-year-old watching that commercial being like, that's kind of terrifying. Kids my age are dead because of toys. And I don't know. I miss it. Let's kill more kids with toys. Wait, no, that's not what we're saying. Let's bring back fun toys to the Happy Meal. That's what we're trying to say. Sam Frito, I'm glad you brought up Superman, because honestly, my girlfriend, I took her to the airport on Friday morning. It's been almost a full week that I've been alone, and I gotta be honest, I am like, and I don't mean this in like a feel sorry for me sad way. I mean this in like a, I can do this for a week and have fun, but after that I'll go crazy if I go any longer. I've been having a nice time being very, very alone the past week. I have gone to work, gone home from work, and then been left alone with no one but my thoughts. But the nice thing about not having your girlfriend there is you can listen to music, podcasts, YouTube, whatever the fuck you want, as loud as you want, out of any fucking speaker device in the entire house, and no one can tell you to turn it up, turn it down, turn it off, go in another room, any of that shit. So it's okay. It's not like I've been alone with my thoughts, because I'm falling asleep with the TV on. I'm walking around the house, brushing my teeth, and going to the bathroom with my phone playing podcasts. I am cooking with YouTube on in the background. I am watching baseball games. I got, I'm on the treadmill with the music going. I'm driving to work with the podcast on. So it's like I am constantly distracted by the political commentary, the video game talk, the whatever, the superhero review on YouTube. And so I'm not truly alone. There's always the parasocial relationships to keep me company. But it's been a weird week, and all that is to say, so Thursday night, the night before I took my girlfriend to the airport and dropped her off, we went and saw Superman opening night, And I loved it. I thought it was really, really great. It's not a perfect movie. I do have a couple criticisms of it, but I don't understand. Like, I don't know. The internet sucks. I'm seeing all this like controversy. I'm not seeing anyone complain about it in the real world, but on the internet, it seems like the whole world's up in arms about this movie. I'm like, what the fuck is there to even complain about? It was a superhero movie and it was really fucking good. And anyway, so I liked it so much that over the weekend, I went and saw it again because I was like, why the fuck not? It was a good movie. There's a movie theater 4 minutes down the road from my house. You know, if I go early enough in the day, tickets are like $10. Why not? So I went and saw Superman a second time. And so I've just been thinking about Superman a lot. And I was like, you know what? I really like James Gunn. It seems like every James Gunn movie that comes out, I really enjoy it. So I rewatched the Guardians of the Galaxy movies this weekend. And I've been binging YouTube videos about, you know, people's superhero reviews, and I found this new YouTube channel I'm addicted to, and I'm watching like every video they got, like talking about basically every Marvel and DC movie, talking about why they're good, why it's bad, and they're like really interesting in-depth reviews, and just kind of going down the rabbit hole on this shit right now. So I really got Superman on my mind at this time. Now, normally a person would say I got Superman on the brain. I fucking hate that expression when people say I got blank on the brain. It's like, I hope you get fucking a tumor on the brain and die, because I don't want to listen to anyone say that. It's just one of those random trigger phrases that makes me deeply uncomfortable, because I don't like the way it sounds. I don't like the imagery it elicits, and therefore you can't say it, because that's what freedom's all about. But yeah, I don't know. I really like that new Superman movie a whole lot, dude. It was really fun. Highly recommend it. Also, shout out to that movie, because at the end, I'm not going to spoil the movie, what happens in the movie, but I will spoil a licensed song that is used at the end of the movie. They play a song called I'm a Punk Rocker by an artist I've never heard of called Teddy Bears. But this song was done in collaboration with Iggy Pop, and he does the vocals for the song. And it's a song from like 2006. And oh boy, when you listen to it, you know it's a song from 2006, because it has that early to mid-aughts, that like mid-aughts indie rock kind of thing. You know, like the Bravery and the Killers and fucking Franz Ferdinand and all those bands, how they also, the Strokes and all these bands, how they sounded like that 2006 era. I love that kind of music, that fucking like popular indie rock shit from that time period. And yeah, man, it's good sounding song. It's a really good, really well executed song in that movie. And I don't know, I just really like that movie a lot. So I've been thinking about it. I've been listening to that song. I've been watching it. It fucking rocks, dude. I highly recommend it. In fact, I would go as far as to say, this might be a bold thing to say, maybe I won't feel this way, in a couple months when I'm like well over it and I've seen Fantastic Four and we're focused on whatever's next in the MCU. But I would go as far as to say, this is probably my favorite DC movie I've ever seen. And it's probably a top 5 superhero. I don't know about top 5. It's definitely a top 10 superhero movie for me. Possibly top 5. For sure top 10 though. Not because I think the movie itself is so great. I don't. I think the movie is like a 7 out of 10. But I think the heartfelt moments of this movie and the casting and writing and portrayal of Superman the character in this movie are so good that, and I'm not trying to be cliche because I know a lot of people I'm not trying to be redundant because I have seen a lot of this discourse online as well. For people who like the movie, I would say this kind of feels like Superman's version of like a Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. Now, as someone who grew up and my biggest influencing factor in my entire existence was Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, I will say this movie is not on that level of how much I adore it. I don't think anything could ever get to that level, but I do think there's some quality about this movie that reminds me of it. I don't know if it's that it's one of the first superhero movies in a long time that really properly knows how to adapt and embrace a campiness to it. I don't know if it's how comic booky yet serious yet lighthearted it is. I don't know if it's the usage of the humor it has. I don't know what it is, but there's something about this movie. It gives me like a, what if we got, instead of a Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, we got like a Sam Raimi Superman movie. And I feel like this is high praise because Superman, traditionally one of the lamer superheroes. I feel like he's kind of boring, but I'm starting to realize maybe it's just because Superman has been done so dirty my whole life, because Superman has had no good movies and no good video games like the entire time I've been alive. So that is probably, and listen, I didn't watch the 1970s movies, the fucking whatever, you guys. I don't care about that. I'm talking about my lifetime. Superman Returns, Man of Steel, these fucking shitty games we got on like PS2 and stuff. Really, the only Superman anything from my childhood that was decent was the animated series and the Justice League TV show. That was it. Everything else, it's like, what the fuck? Why would I pay attention to this? I got Spider-Man. I got X-Men. I got fucking Hulk. I got, grow up a little more. It's like you get Avengers. Like, I don't need this. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so that's it for me. I think we should just end it there because I want to keep it positive, and I got nothing but good things to say about Superman. So go out and watch that movie. I highly recommend it. I think it's very good. And now I'm very excited for Fantastic Four, so I feel incredibly blessed that within a span of 2 weeks, we're going to get Superman and Fantastic Four, and this should be the first time we get a truly good Fantastic Four movie. But I do have a bit of a soft spot for that first one from 2005, the Jessica Alba one. It's good. It's not good, but I like it anyway. I do like that movie. All right. Anyway, let's talk about Xbox, I guess. Well, so here's the rub, guys. There's not a whole lot going on in the news, so we're gonna do another one of those instead of like small news, big news, small news. We're just gonna do news, and we're just going to kind of go down the list because there's nothing like earth-shattering to really dive into here. So let's go through that, and then we have a decent amount of comments because, the big news from the past week or two have brought in a lot of comments. So we'll go through comments, and I think we'll have a good time. We'll be able to get this podcast easily over an hour and 20 minutes or something. I mean, we spent 15 fucking minutes jerking off James Gunn and Superman, so I'm sure we'll find a way to get this thing well over an hour in length, and then we'll have a decent podcast for you guys to listen to. Now, if you're not a Superman fan, if you don't like the new Superman movie, you might not even enjoy this week's podcast. But if you enjoy people having their hard work replaced by AI, then maybe you will enjoy this. I'm sorry, I'm getting really distracted because I had this Superman Dairy Queen search result pop up that I pulled up on my screen. I just realized for some reason the top image result was this picture of all these DC action figures, and it says Dairy Queen Toys, DC Universe Hero, and then it has all these like little blurbs and pictures, and everything's in Vietnamese. And I'm like, how the fuck did it? Why is that the first result? Bing. I live in the United States, right? I can't read this shit, right? All right, anyway. Let's get back to it, guys. So let's kick off the news with some news about King, some unfortunate news about King, the guys that do the Candy Crush. And from VGC, staff laid off by Microsoft-owned Candy Rush developer King are being replaced by AI tools that they helped create, former staff have claimed. Earlier in the month, King cut around 200 staff jobs as part of Microsoft's sweeping layoffs, which saw games canceled and studios slashed across the game's business. The cuts at King, which has offices in cities like London, Barcelona, Stockholm, mainly affected middle management and UX narrative copyright. It's claimed, hey, I'm in middle management. That's scary. However, according to the new report by mobilegamer.biz, many level UX and UX designers plus practically half of the London-based Farm Heroes Saga team have also been told that they are at risk. Notably, it's claimed that these staff have spent the last few years building it and training AI tools to do their jobs. Quote, most of the level design has been wiped, which is crazy since they've spent months building tools to help craft levels quicker. One anonymous staff told Mobile Gamer, now that the AI tools are basically replacing the team, similarly, the copywriting team is completely removed because that we're removing people since we now have AI tools that do what those individuals have created as well. The fact that AI tools are replacing people is absolutely disgusting, but it's all about efficiency and profits, even though the company is doing great overall. If we were introducing more feedback loops, and then it's crazy to remove the developers themselves. We need more hands and less leadership. The same sources that provide that quote suggested that the total number of staff cuts may be more than 200 people. Speaking to the Game Developer Conference in May of 2023, so a couple years ago, King's Chief Technology Officer Steve Collins told Eurogamer the ambition for King was to pivot to an AI-first company after it acquired Swedish AI company Peltarion. This is a little... I guess it was foreboding 2 years ago, right? So this is even before the Activision deal, firmly went through, is that they were working on pivoting to being an AI first company. And then what do? You use that against your own people. So this is, listen, this is this thing we're going to inevitably see eventually, right? Is that a lot of industries are going to be affected greatly by AI as AI is able to replace the work of humans. And it's not going to be a perfect, succinct thing. You suspect that this is going to be a really hard transition for a lot of companies because AI and humans are not a perfect one-to-one replacement. There's going to be a lot of unforeseen troubles and things along with, that are entailed with, moving over to AI modules to replace the work of humans. But I think once a lot of these companies work out the kinks and find solutions and things like that, and it becomes a little less taboo to do it, you're going to start seeing more of a domino effect in this movement. And so unfortunately, I think that is just a reality of the world we live in and where we're headed. So unfortunately, barring any barring any legislation on from governments around the world to help preserve and protect jobs, I just don't think this is something we're going to see less and less of. I think it's just something that's going to ramp up and happen more and more and more. And so it's super, super unfortunate to see this happen to the team at King, even though this is a studio that, most of us from the Xbox side of things don't really care about, because most of us aren't here to play fucking Candy Crush Saga. It's more about, the staff that were affected, and that at the end of the day, these guys all report to Activision, who report to Microsoft, Xbox and Microsoft. So this is just, the Microsoft as a business showing that, hey, we are more than capable and more willing to be the kind of company that says, fuck you. At the end of the day, it's not about our people. It's not about our creatives. It's not about what you do for us. It's about how much money we can save, how much money we can reallocate to different projects and investments. And at the end of the day, if we got what we needed out of you and now we can do the job without you, you're as good as dead to us. And I'm sorry, that's just how it works when you work as a cog in a machine. And it's just abhorrent, because I mean, there's nothing really for me to say, right? We're all on the same page about this. I know people feel this way, right? We're human. We feel for humans. We don't want our fellow neighbors to be suffering and without jobs because of the advent of AI. And while I'm also, it's a tricky conversation to have, because as I am someone who is generally for, not progressive in like the political sense, although I guess you could say that about me as well. I'm very obsessed with technological advancement and progressing the efficiency and creative output and capacity of humankind. I worry about whether or not we have the safety net and the government regulation and the humanity in place to deal with the level of displacement that societies are going to face as a result of the advent of AI. So I guess I think that kind of sums up how I feel. It's not that, it's like, I'm not upset that certain jobs will become obsolete as a result of AI. I'm upset that AI will be used to weaponize for companies to weaponize against the workforce, and then it will fuck the workforce further and make it a harder, more competitive, more grueling world for people to live in, because we don't have any protections in place for the people. It's not like I wouldn't say I'm so, I wish they never invented the automobile because I want to protect the fucking horse salesman or whatever the fuck, and the farmers that, raise and sell, cattle for people to ride into town. Obviously you want the advancements. But with AI, there's just so many like nerve-wracking elements that come along with it. And then you just realize it's like, I don't know. Is anyone going to look out for anyone when this shit happens? It's just a scary thing. We live in such an emotionally cold and distant world where politicians literally lie to your face for years and years and years, get elected, and then go ahead and do literally everything the opposite of what they promised you they would do, and then they are not held accountable for that. They can literally be illegal fucking felons, they can be pedophiles, they can be rapists, they can be morally gray humans, they can be cheaters, they can be all the worst things, and then they cannot be reprimanded for it, and then they can get elected, and then they can get elected again, and then they don't have to serve term limits, and then they can get their buddies set up for life, and they can forgive their other, they can pardon their other criminal buddies. It's just, this is the world we live in. And I'm not talking about any one particular country or any one particular leader. I'm talking about this is how it works in power dynamics all around the globe, and in the workforce and in politics. And the more and more corruption has taken a hold of everything and been normalized, the more the people who are powerless, the everyday folk like you and me, the working class people who have nothing to do but work for an honest living to try and support themselves and their families, and then maybe blow off some steam from time to time by playing a video game. It's like our only real options are to try and pivot and get through the hard times, and then ignore the noise around you and try to enjoy fucking dinner with your family, or a video game with a night playing Call of Duty with your buddy online or whatever, because God knows you can't control a goddamn thing that's happening in the real world. So what makes you think that the advent of AI taking jobs from humans is gonna result in some positive change and some solution put in place to protect the working class, who are no doubt going to be upended to some large extent by AI's continuing encroachment on every fucking aspect of our lives. So again, not to, I have to take it in that direction, I guess, because what else do you want me to? Oh, I love Candy Crush. This is a real bummer. I hope they don't cut content. It's like, this is about the people who don't have fucking jobs. And, we're talking mostly about European developers in this case, and, UK and European developers. So you hope that, the EU or someone fucking stands up and does something, because, yeah, I mean, damn, dude. And you see little signs of it all the time. It's one of those things that's so annoying. It's like, for the majority of my life, I was born in the mid-90s, so the majority of my life, I feel like every adult has been telling me, oh, shopping malls are dying. The shopping mall that I grew up 10 minutes away from, North Point Mall in Alpharetta, Georgia, that mall, I have been told since like 2007 when I was like 11 or 12 years old, this mall is dying. Oh, that store closed. Oof, this mall's not going to be around much longer. Fast forward to 2025, that mall's still here. But it does look like it's dying if you go there. Anyway, I bring that up to say, I feel like AI is one of those things where it's like, like you pull up to the Taco Bell drive-thru and there's a menu board and some AI is like, order when you're ready. It's like, hi, welcome to Taco Bell, where we believe every person's opinion matters. Please order when you're ready. It's like, fuck off, Taco Bell. I don't need that fucking shit from you. Anyway, give me a cheese and chalupa supreme. And you see things like the AI menu board at the fast food restaurant, or the increased presence of self-checkout at grocery stores more and more. And you say to yourself, over the years, as these things exist and we normalize them and we become used to them, yeah, this is just going to replace the job of the cashier. Yeah, this is going to replace the job of the food service worker. This is going to replace, like these are like kind of like the everyday examples of like technology replacing jobs. But it's like one day it will be much more than what we see today. It'll be much more than self-checkout at the grocery store. It'll be much more than the mobile ordering on your phone, or ordering at the AI menu board, or going to McDonald's, ignoring the human who says welcome to McDonald's, and then walking up to that kiosk right next to the associate to order on the tablet instead. It's just like one of those things where, eventually someday we're not going to think about it, but they're going to phase out, almost said transition out, phase out the humans in place of the technology. And I just don't know that we're set up to handle that. But this is the tech industry, the video game industry version of, I pulled up to Taco Bell today and I didn't talk to a human. I talked to a robot. And that's where we're at. So cool, Microsoft. So awesome that you could be at the forefront of this. Phil and the team, you guys who were so awesome, get paid millions of dollars to suck dick at your jobs and never put out good games. You put out good games, never put out a steady flow of games because you're too busy canceling everything. I just want to let you know, I think it's so awesome that you put players at the center of the living room and that everyone plays, and that when you bought Activision and laid all those people off, we all won. So I just want to remind you yet again that you definitely don't suck and you guys are definitely doing a great job. So that's fucking awesome. I hope you definitely feel great about yourselves every day. Anyway, let's move on to Asus. These guys are Taiwanese, dude. They spelled their name wrong because they're suspicious as hell. No, I'm just kidding. We like the Taiwanese. We like Thai tea. We like milk tea. I should say milk tea, not Thai tea. We like the fucking Taiwanese because it's like, hey, what if China, but not weird? And it's like, I like that place. I want to go there and eat food. I would like to go to Taiwan. I want to go to Singapore real bad. That's the one I really want to check out. Anyway, guys, from PureXbox.com, Microsoft has yet to announce anything official about the ROG Xbox Ally, or I hate calling it the ROG. The ROG Xbox Ally, as far as pricing goes. But we've had reports about what both versions of the handheld might cost, and now creators seem to have leaked prices as according to some European postings. So 3D Juegos, which is Spanish for 3D games, was an outlet, it's social media on the internet, whatever, who gives a shit, recently had a screen grab of a Google preview that says it's from Asus's store itself. According to the preview, the cheaper version, the ROG Xbox Ally, will be €600, while the more expensive ROG Xbox Ally X, or whatever the fuck, will be 899 or €900. Assuming that this is actually the real deal, not mistaken, it aligns with the exclusive report about the ROG Ally Xbox from about a month ago via YouTuber XTAS1S. Fuck you with these names. That also suggested a 600 and 900 euro price in most European countries. In their report, it was also suggested that pricing in the US might be around $100 US cheaper than what these models in Europe would be, but that was far from confirmed. with the YouTuber making clear that they weren't confident on the deal. Now let's do euros to USD. If I was good at this show, I would be prepared and already have this conversion done, but I don't fucking care. So 600 euro is roughly 700 US dollars. Is that my cat? Are you a cat? No, that's not a cat. All right. So 600 euro, roughly $700. So if it is to be believed that they're a little bit cheaper in the US, which you could see that happening, the US is the most important market for especially Xbox, not because we are important, but because it is where Xbox is most competitive and does its best. So you could see them trying to be a little more competitive to get these things out on the shelves. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, $600 to $700 for the cheap model. So, you know, that means like 900 to 1,000 for the expensive model. So, yeah, this is like exactly what I assumed these things would cost. Somewhere in the 600 to 1,000 range. This is like kind of right on the money. So, I don't have anything else to say about this. I feel like this is just like, yeah. I mean, is it possible these prices are wrong? Absolutely. This is just reporting from credible people, but, you know, reporting nonetheless, and things change, and who knows what the plan is, and all that. Maybe the prices go up because tariffs and all that great stuff that, you know, just looking out for the American people and all that stuff. So who the fuck knows? But $600, $800, $900, I don't know who the fuck this device is for. You can't even get people to buy a $300 Series S, so good luck getting people to buy this thing, but they have to know this is an incredibly niche product. So as long as they're okay with the projections being 400,000 units sold, I think this is a great device for them to partner up with Asus to create. But yeah, good for those, again, good for those who are interested in it. When they first announced it, I was like, I don't know if I want this. I don't think I do, but it's really cool, of course. But I want to hold out for the real Xbox handheld. And I've kind of gone from that opinion since early June to fast forward to mid-July. And I'm just like, yeah, fuck this piece of shit. I'm never buying this device. Fuck Xbox's partner hardware. I hope it all bombs and fails. I don't want a fucking Asus Xbox. I don't want a Samsung TV that plays Xbox. I don't want an Xbox on my iPhone 16 Pro Max. I want a fucking Xbox. So stop feeding me this schlock. And for those who do want it, good for you. For me personally, I'll go play my Xbox. But yeah, go enjoy paying $1,000 for a handheld where Reddit freaks are just going to tell you, "Ooh, why didn't you buy a Steam Deck, brother? You could have got the Steam Deck. You know, on the Steam Deck, it supports mods, so you could have naked girls on your video games." Anyway, guys, let's talk about Black Ops 7. Speaking of naked girls, if you never want to see a naked girl, just play Black Ops 7 all the time. Then she'll never want to talk to you. Pure Xbox relays that following its prestige slot as the show closer for Microsoft's Game Showcase last month, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 will officially blow the doors of Gamescom 2025 in August. Opening Night Live, the event that Jeff Keighley does that, God bless us, is always eye-wateringly boring, has announced news on social media adding that the game's worldwide reveal will kick off Gamescom in a massive way. We assume it will be a big show opener in that case, so they'll probably do a campaign reveal, typical Call of Duty campaign reveal fashion, which I think, when did they do that? I think Modern Warfare 3 2 years ago did a Gamescom reveal for campaign, so I think this is like kind of in line as, you know, as that like second year schlocky slapped together Call of Duty game like Modern Warfare 3 was, like this was. I feel like that's kind of the move, is to show it very late in development, right around Gamescom before it releases 2 months later. Whereas traditionally it's like, if it's like a Modern Warfare 1 or 2 or Black Ops 6, where it's like a full multi-year development Call of Duty game from the stem to stern, that usually gets an earlier announcement, like a May or June, like an E3 timeframe announcement. I've noticed that pattern here. But anyway, who cares? Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Worldwide Reveal will be at Opening Night Live on Tuesday, August 19th, and the streaming time will be 2 p.m. Eastern time. Awesome. I will be balls deep at my day job during that time, so I will not be there live, but we will watch it nonetheless. And the good news is, hey, it's a Tuesday, which means we can cover it for the podcast that week. That's so fucking great. But yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. Personally, I'm excited. Is it because I'm an idiot? Yes, it's because I'm an idiot. It's because even though this game is almost certainly going to be horrible, because these Call of Duties that are like slapped together in like 5 minutes that precede this new trend they do, where it's like, let's develop Modern Warfare 2 for 3 or 4 years and then make Modern Warfare 3 in like 8 months. And then they're like, let's make Black Ops 6 for 3 or 4 years and then immediately put out a Black Ops 7 in like 8 months. You know, that kind of weird new thing that they're doing over there at Activision. It doesn't seem like it's working so far yet. Like, it's a great idea. because, at least for me, because I thought Modern Warfare 2 was excellent, and I thought Modern Warfare 3 that came out immediately afterwards was doggy doo-doo, although the multiplayer was okay. And I thought Black Ops 6 is pretty solid, a little disappointing actually, but overall, from a content and a polish standpoint, very good. And then the idea of them doing a sequel to Black Ops 2, an immediate follow-up from Black Ops 6, the following year with Black Ops 7, I'm pretty confident this game's going to be bad. But that being said, I'm excited anyway because it is a direct sequel to Call of Duty Black Ops 2, the 2012 release that is, in my opinion, the last Call of Duty of the golden era, that fucking Modern Warfare 2007 year up until Black Ops 2. I mean, Modern Warfare 1, 2, I didn't really play that old Modern Warfare 3, but World at War, Black Ops 1 and 2, I mean, goddamn, that's like, it will never get that good again. Listen, we have good years and bad years of Call of Duty. Like Cold War and Modern Warfare 2 were great. We've had some great Call of Duties in recent history, but it'll never be that 2007 to 2012 stretch ever again. You got to admit, so fucking good. From the time Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man ended to the time Andrew Garfield started, that was the golden era of Call of Duty. And it's over now. Anyway, I'm very much looking forward to this nonetheless because I just want to see what they do with it narratively, even though I suspect I'll be disappointed. I want to see what it looks like. Black Ops 6 is a huge disappointment to me in that, they're like, oh, it's set in the 90s, but unlike Cold War, which truly feels like it was set in the 80s, Black Ops 6 does not feel like it was set in the 90s at all. It just feels like Modern Warfare. So I'm really hoping that Black Ops 7 truly feels like a game that takes place in the 2030s, that has that Black Ops 2 look and feel, as opposed to being like, oh yeah, it's a sequel to Black Ops 2, and then it just feels like fucking Black Ops 3 or some bullshit, because honestly, Black Ops 3 and Advanced Warfare, that's really where Call of Duty starts falling off a cliff for me. So I'm really hoping that I like what I see, and at the very least, there's something visually appealing about this game. So I'm cautiously optimistic, knowing full well it's probably not going to be great, but I am excited nonetheless, and I just have to be honest with you guys about that. Plus, think about it, we could just enjoy, like, at least, it's the same, it's the thing that's great about Call of Duty every year around October, November, December, which is you get to enjoy 2 months, 8 weeks of Call of Duty where you run around in multiplayer and everyone looks like a military guy shooting each other before, January, February rolls around. You got the fucking Grim Reaper, fucking Barney the dinosaur, while Tim Burton and John McCain fucking teabag each other in the corner. So it'll be nice to enjoy, 7 fucking seconds of Call of Duty looking like Call of Duty when that comes out as well. Of course, Game Pass. Anyway, let's talk about Starfield. Speaking of games nobody cares about that I still like. I don't care what you say. Pure Xbox relays that it's been claimed that Bethesda Game Studios is still working on Starfield, including new DLC. Now, this comes from Windows Central, Jez Corden over there, who claims that Bethesda's core team is still working on Starfield DLC and updates along the much anticipated, of course, Elder Scrolls 6. When, the quote that Corden Starfield comments come from is pulled from the Xbox 2 podcast, which reads as follows. Bethesda's core team is still working on Starfield. Starfield's going to have more DLC from what I've heard. I don't know when. I just heard that that at least the Starfield DLC, and that this is post layoffs, by the way, so it has not been canceled. It could be canceled in the future, next quarter, I don't know. But for right now, it's not canceled. So the core team at Bethesda right now are working on Starfield DLC as well as Elder Scrolls 6 is full steam ahead. So that is super exciting in the sense that I thought the Shattered Spaces DLC was quite underwhelming, and I say as someone who really loved the base game of Starfield, so I would love for them to get a second shot at some DLC and give us something really satisfying. And I say that knowing full well there's still plenty of stuff in the base game I have to do. I just, the time. The motivation and the time, that's always the problem. But anyway, in any case, I hope this is true because I love Starfield. I know people just want them to move on. People want Fallout. People want Elder Scrolls, and I respect that, and I can understand where they come from with that, but I personally just love Starfield. So if we can get some more of that, that'd be great, because I'm not entirely confident there's ever going to be a Starfield 2. So if we can just get a little more for Starfield 1, I'll take all I can get so that I can enjoy that for the rest of my life while you guys get Elder Scrolls 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever the fuck. Go be happy. So there's that. Speaking of comments and quotes from Windows Central, we got another one from the Xbox two podcasts, or actually no, this one's just from Windows Central. But again, Jez Corden, the only guy who does any reporting around here, and then relayed from Pure Xbox because the Windows Central website looks like ass nowadays and is challenging as fuck to navigate, so I'd rather just pull their news from other sources. In a lengthy post on all things Xbox Cloud Gaming, Windows Central detailed a few things that they'd heard are in the works for the service somewhere down the line. Reporter Jez Corden says he's heard that Microsoft is already testing PC-based cloud gaming rather than Xbox console-based cloud gaming servers for the next gen of cloud provisions, which could lead to higher bit rate and resolution options for cloud gaming. I just want more stable connections and higher consistency across the board. That's all I care about. But yeah, the quote from Windows Central reads, "It's not exactly a revelation to know that Microsoft is looking to improve the situation here. I've heard Microsoft's already testing PC-based rather than Xbox console-based servers for its next-gen cloud provision, while retaining backwards compatibility in its existing library." That's impressive. Microsoft announced a partnership with AMD specifically to maintain Xbox console backwards compatibility on its future chips, despite the broad expectation that they will be PC-oriented. So you can expect Microsoft's next-gen Xbox console to support high bitrate and resolution options, getting closer to NVIDIA's 4K GFN Ultimate tier. Microsoft's current gen option only reaches 1080p and 60 FPS at most, although it's not always able to hit those targets based on a variety of factors. So again, that's fine, but really my only feedback is, and listen, I've heard NVIDIA GeForce Now is excellent and that it's like the best streaming out there by far. I've never used it. I'll just take people's word for it. I believe it. I know Xbox Cloud Gaming is not the best of the best. My experience with it has been mostly great, and especially in recent years, I really had no complaints about it. It's very rare, very seldom I get an issue while streaming with Xbox. However, if they can make it better, that's great. If they can make the resolution, the frame rates higher, and the bit rate higher, and all that shit, whatever. What I want is just more consistency, because while I have a pretty good experience almost always when streaming with Xbox Cloud Gaming, it seems like everyone I've ever talked to has the opposite experience where they have a bad time with this. So if they can just kind of figure that out, the location-based issues, the internet-based issues, and just kind of make it better all around. I understand there's always going to be some dependency on the end user's internet strength and connection speeds and all that. But if we can just continue to work on trying to minimize those setbacks as much as possible, I think that's really the killer feature. That you can deal with the resolutions and the frame rates and all that bullshit later down the road. Let's just focus on getting a very rock-steady experience for everyone at first. I think that's really what matters here. But anyway, keep moving on here. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 developer says it's removing a cheeky Guitar Hero reference that was and they're investigating how it happened. So there's this water park level in the new Tony Hawk game that isn't from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 or 4. It's a new level that developer Iron Galaxy created for the game. And there is a little Easter egg in the game where if you look near this trash bin or something, there's like this pile of trash on the ground in the corner somewhere on this water park map. And you can see this box, like a Guitar Hero box, like that comes with like the video game and the controller and everything. And it's so clearly inspired by 2008's Guitar Hero World Tour. But the box art says Banjo Hero, and then it shows like Neversoft as the developer, which is, one of the developers of Guitar Hero from back in the day. And so on Reddit, Iron Galaxy's dev team wrote a comment saying, "Hey, we have the utmost respect for anyone who makes games. We're investigating how this got in there in the first place. Thank you as a community for bringing this to our attention. We'll be removing it from the game and the environment in our next update." And people are like, why the fuck would you remove this? This is a fun nod. It's like in the spirit of Tony Hawk. It's campy, it's goofy, it's fun. It's a nod to Guitar Hero, which is another Activision property. Like, you don't have to remove this, but I guess some people think it's a little insensitive because it's a nod to Neversoft, which is a developer that Activision folded into Blizzard and said, "Fuck you, you don't make games anymore. You just do bitch work on fucking Overwatch." And so I guess that was seen as insensitive. I think Iron Galaxy is just trying to protect their asses and be like, "Ooh, I hope Microsoft doesn't get mad at us. I hope Activision doesn't get mad at us for letting this slip." But it's like, people are like, "No, it's cool. We like the Guitar Hero reference." In fact, instead of updating this out of the game, what you guys should do is make a fucking Guitar Hero game. That'd be cool. Phil Spencer's like, "Oh, we bought Activision. There's a lot of things we could do. We could do Hexen. We could do Guitar Hero. We could do fucking Skylanders." And then what do? Call of Duty Black Ops 6, 8 months after Call of Duty Black Ops 4, after Call of Duty Black Ops 10, we're going to do Call of Duty Black Ops 12. So good for you guys for just continuing to just be the same company Activision already was before you came around. No surprise there. But But yeah, I feel like this is much to do about nothing. I just thought it was a cool nod because Guitar Hero World Tour is such an incredibly warm, special game to me, and I love it, and I miss Guitar Hero, and bring it the fuck back. Don't take this out. This is a fun little nod. Don't be stupid. I hate this stupidity. Don't be cute about this. I really just think it's Iron Galaxy being like, oh shit, I hope no one gets mad at us that this happened. We didn't see this. Anyway, speaking of getting mad, Rare has announced a paid custom server option for Sea of Thieves coming in 2026. Announced during the first Community Direct, Custom Seas, the game's private paid servers will come to Sea of Thieves early next year. The feature will also give players access to exclusive tools such as cinematic camera used to make trailers for the game. Specific pricing information will be shared later, but Rare didn't concede that the feature isn't expensive or support, and thus it will require a monthly fee, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about this. I know it's very common. Fucking Minecraft has paid servers. A lot of these kinds of persistent games have that option. People like to play around and do that stuff, so I think it's cool that the option's there. I don't care. Probably be somewhere in the $5 to $10 a month range. Do we really have to talk about this? I don't think anyone gives a shit. It's just sad that the only thing that Rare has announced that's coming soon is paid servers for Sea of Thieves, now that the only game that they had in development that we knew of is now officially canceled. So we're not getting Everwild. We're getting paid servers for Sea of Thieves. So chew on that while I fucking play Nintendo Switch 2 in protest. All right, guys, and let's wrap it up here because we got games coming and going from Game Pass, and so that's how we're going to end our news this week. So available as of the time you're listening to this, High on Life is back in Game Pass. RoboCop Rogue City is on Game Pass, so great way to try it out before you get that new DLC. And then My Friendly Neighborhood is on Game Pass, but coming soon, we got some additional games on Friday this week. Back to the Dawn comes to Game Pass, along with Abiotic Factor on the 22nd. On the 23rd, Wheel World comes to Game Pass. It's a day one entry. And then on the 24th next week, we get Wu Chong Fallen Feathers, also a day one Game Pass. I keep seeing this stuff. I don't care. Dark Souls, who cares? All right, move on. Grounded 2 comes to Game Pass day one, of course, and that's on the 29th of this month, at the end of the month. Another game from Obsidian, game 2 of 3 for them this year. So it's game preview. It's not the proper release, but whatever. It's the game nonetheless. And then lastly, Farming Simulator 25 comes on August 1st to Game Pass. But on July 31st, 3 games will be leaving Game Pass, including Gigantic, Turnip Boy Robs a Bank, and Kinnitsugami Path of the Goddess, which came out last year. So say goodbye to those 3 games as they exit Game Pass at the end of the month. And that is it for all the news this week. You guys, we're going to get into the comments, but we're just all out of sorts today. We're just kind of doing whatever the fuck we want. So I'm going to get into the games I've been playing this week next, because I talked a bit about Superman. Really enjoying that. That's kind of the highlight of my week as far as entertainment I've taken in. It's my favorite thing I've done. So let's talk about the games we've been playing next. But before I can tell you about the games I've been playing, I want to tell you all about what it is I've been eating. And I got one for, I think, the OG McDonald's fans out there. And by OG McDonald's fans out there, I mean people who ate a lot of McDonald's 10 years ago fans out there. The snack wrap is back. You may have heard. I know there's a huge deal about it. Everyone's talking about it. The snack wrap is back. And the snack wrap it's not like my legendary McDonald's item that I want back. I think if there's 2 things I can think about off the top of my hand that it's like I would kill for McDonald's to bring these 2 things back. I think one, it's the mushroom Swiss burger they used to have on the value menu. It was $1 and it was just a regular cheeseburger, but Swiss instead of cheddar, or American, Swiss instead of American, and then just had shit tons of sauteed onions and mushrooms on it. And while that's generally a burger I like but don't go for at most burger restaurants, this version of it, McDonald's 99-cent version of it, was like my favorite fast food burger. I used to eat that thing, I swear to God, like when I was working in restaurants in high school and college, I'd eat that thing like twice a week at least. I swear to God, I would get like 2 of them at a time. I would bring that back. And then another thing, I don't know, probably Fruitopia. I wasn't crazy about Fruitopia. It's something I would get like every other visit or something to McDonald's because I'm more of a cola guy. I'll go for like a Coke, a Pepsi, or a Dr. Pepper more often than not. But Fruitopia was a staple of McDonald's, and I feel like it's one of those things that just should always be there regardless. It's like kind of something they are known for. And I maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they don't have Fruitopia anymore. So bring it back. But anyway, the snack wrap came back a week or 2 ago, and I know people are super happy about that. I like the snack wrap. I have fond memories about it. It was on the menu back in the days I was just referring to when the mushroom onion Swiss burger was on the menu. So I remember I actually used to get the snack wrap somewhat frequently when I would go to McDonald's. I would get like 2 of the mushroom Swiss burger, a couple nuggets, a small French fry, and then maybe like a snack wrap to go with it or something. Because you know how it is when you're like 17, 18, and you go to the McDonald's drive-thru and you're like, I think I could eat like 2,800 calories right now. So, God, I miss those days. I miss like, it's like 10:30 at night on a school night and you're out with your friends and you go to Taco Bell and you're just like, I'm literally just going to eat 3,000 calories without thinking twice about it. And then I'm going to go back to my buddy's house and we're going to play fucking Skyrim and listen to music and then still go to school tomorrow. But anyway, the snack wrap is a snack I used to have quite a decent amount when I went to McDonald's. And I remember always really liking it, but it wasn't my favorite. I think the reason I felt that way is because another fast food chain I love called Cookout, that we had back in Georgia. They're from North Carolina. They have something like the snack wrap. It's very similar. It's a tortilla with a chicken tender in it, some cheese, lettuce, ranch, whatever, and call it a day for $1. And I loved the ones they had at Cookout so fucking much. Every time I would go to Cookout, I get like, it got to the point where I wouldn't even get the Cookout tray. I wouldn't even get the burger and the fries. I would just be like, let me get 4 of those chicken wraps and a large cherry wine. And that was like my order. Like that, God, I fucking love that thing so much. But the McDonald's snack wrap was a pretty respectable chicken wrap item at McDonald's or, in fast food. So I'm glad it's back and I'm happy for the snack wrap fans. So I thought this week, hey, girlfriend's out of town. I'm being unconventional. I don't want to go to a grocery store. I'm not making my own meals. I'm not bringing my own sandwiches to work or anything. I'm being a little naughty this week. I'm doing a lot of Hoagie Fest, eating a lot of like just fucking chicken and rice at home, just kind of being lazy. So let me go on my lunch break over to McDonald's and I'm going to try the snack wrap because it's been a while. I want to see what's up. And so I got the snack wrap and I also got that new s'mores Hershey's McFlurry because they now sell a mini size of the McFlurry. It's like a tiny, tiny one. And I'm so grateful they do. So you can just have like a little bit of it and not have to fucking commit to 18 ounces of fucking ice cream. So I got 2 of the ranch snack wraps and the tiny version of the s'mores Hershey McFlurry. First of all, I don't like s'mores, so we'll get that out of the way. I got it because I love Hershey's candy bars so much, and so this is a conflicting McFlurry because even though the ice cream's great and the abundance of Hershey's chocolates in there are so good, I love Hershey's chocolate with a McFlurry. It's a great combination. I don't love the graham crackers and the little shitty tiny marshmallows on there. So I gotta ask them next time, can I get that McFlurry but just with the chocolate, or is it like pre-mixed with all the s'mores ingredients? Because if you can get it with just a shit ton of Hershey's chocolate bar pieces but no marshmallows, no graham crackers, that would be like the ultimate McFlurry. Aside from when they had the Rolo's McFlurry, that thing was awesome too. But anyway, so that was fine, whatever. But the snack wraps, I was a little bit surprised when I had them because they were like just as good as I remember them being. And I don't know why, I just kind of assumed they were going to taste different because they're using those new chicken tenders that McDonald's has. And I just thought, oh, well, it's going to taste different then. And maybe they do taste different, I don't know. But from what I can remember, they taste like exactly the same. So I was like, hey, that's pretty good. And I feel like 30-year-old Jesse kind of appreciates a McDonald's snack wrap more than 18-year-old Jesse did. And maybe that's because 18-year-old Jesse had his pick of the litter when it came to chicken tender-based value food items at fast food restaurants. I mean, everyone had these back in the day. You go to Cookout and get them. You go to Burger King and get them. Nowadays, it's like fucking, well, it's a trend right now. I know Taco Bell has one right now. I really don't want to try because it's probably ass. But yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's good. I like it, is what I'm trying to say. And if I had to go back to McDonald's anytime in the near future, I would get the snack wrap again because I like it. It's good. I think it's a good idea to get like a double cheeseburger with no ketchup and 2 snack wraps. I think that right there is an excellent meal. That and a Coke Zero. Anyway, guys, that's it for what I've been eating. Now on to what I've been playing. So yeah, I've been playing 2 games this week, really just 1. And before I can tell you about the games I've been playing, I'm not tell you what I've been eating, but before I can tell you about the games I'm playing, I got to give you an update on what's going on with me and Xbox. So love Xbox. Xbox is my favorite place to play games. I'm obviously about to take a big break from Xbox because the day this podcast goes live, Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out, and all I give a shit about starting tomorrow is that donkey. I want that Donkey Kong December inside me so bad. I'm so excited for it. But I am very, very just kind of fed up and disheartened and a little sick right now with Xbox, with Microsoft. And I know this isn't the 1700s where I can vote with my wallet. I know me and my friends can't go down to the parlor and put a pamphlet together and hand it out around town square in hopes that the people of the village read my opinions and say, I agree, I am also outraged, and then we spill some fucking tea into a harbor and cause Parliament to change their ways. I'm aware we don't live in that world anymore. I can hate a company with all my fucking heart, and I will lose 100% of the time, and it won't fucking matter. So I get it. So I'm not telling you what I'm about to tell you to say, like, I'm making a difference. I'm really showing them. But this is really more for me than it is for to make a statement against Xbox. It's that I am very frustrated with these layoffs. I'm very frustrated with the ineptitude at Team Xbox, with the fact that Matt Booty has kind of knowingly sucked at his job for a decade plus and just hasn't been held accountable, with the fact that developers keep suffering at the hands of incompetence from leadership, with the absolute negligence of our piece of shit government here in the United States, governments in Europe apparently as well, in allowing a corporation like Microsoft to buy a corporation like Activision, when that level of consolidation was always a horrible idea. And then lo and behold, it was a fucking horrible idea. And here's another and just keep in mind, this isn't the first 9,000 people laid off. Here's just another chunk of thousands of people who are now without a job because, when we all play, we all win. Oh, consolidation's great. Everyone's going to win, right? So I'm just very frustrated right now. I know there's nothing I can do about it. This is kind of a straw that broke the camel's back for me in a little bit, because Microsoft has just become a very frustratingly boring company to me in recent years. And that sucks because I've always been a little bit of a Microsoft stan when it comes to my big tech companies. I loved Windows 8. I loved Windows 10. I love Surface devices. I love Xbox. I loved Windows Phone. I loved fucking Groove Music. I loved all these things, all these products and services they had. Big fan. But Microsoft in the pandemic onward era, Satya Nadella in his reign of Xbox or Microsoft leadership have done a really good job of just not only pissing me off with some of their decision making and treatment towards staff, but also just really bored me to tears. I mean, lots of notable people have left the company. Panos Panay leaving Microsoft was a huge one for me. Surface is just such a fucking boring line. They canceled the headphones. They canceled the cell phones. They canceled all the interesting accessories and devices. All they make is the fucking Surface laptop at this point, which is the only boring Surface there is. Well, they still make the Surface Pro, but I mean, it's just the Surface Pro. And then, Xbox is getting so fucking milquetoast and boring. They're just like, that's a more powerful Xbox, and we bought Activision. Fuck you, subscribe. And then Windows 11, totally usable, totally fine. It's just boring. And I just feel like Microsoft as a company has gotten so boring in the past few years as their focus has really become all about AI. It's like, that's great for you guys, but as a consumer, I feel like you have all but like chopped off all the opportunities for me as a fan to identify with your brand at all. It's just like, I want to like you, Microsoft, but you won't make any products, and you keep watering down products, and you keep firing people, and you keep driving out talent. And it's like, there's not a whole lot for me to latch on to here. Xbox is really the only part of Microsoft left that like I even give a shit about, because it's just kind of so boring on Xbox, to the point where like even on my Samsung phone, like I used to be so like gung-ho about like how much can I make my Android phone look and feel like something from Microsoft. I'll use the Microsoft launcher, I'll use Outlook as my email client, I'll use Microsoft Edge as my web browser, and all these things. It's like I just don't even do that anymore. I'm just like, whatever, dude, fucking Samsung's launcher's fine, Samsung Mail, Samsung Internet. I don't give a shit, dude. Microsoft is so boring. They won't even update their fucking phone launcher on Android because they're just so obsessed with cloud services and Windows and corporations and AI technologies that it's like any ounce of that company that was about consumer products and consumer facing experiences is just so far on the back burner at this point that I feel entirely forgotten. And then to take the one vertical left of this company that I give a shit about, Xbox, and then to just put a huge little turd on that fucking salad, that little green salad we call Xbox. I'm just like, you know what? I think I think I'm good for a minute. I think I need a break. So I had 2 days left in my Game Pass subscription service. I downloaded Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 plus 4, and 3 and 4. I played it extensively for an afternoon on Sunday, and got through pretty much all of Pro Skater 3 and some of Pro Skater 4, and enjoyed it a lot. I don't have any opinions to tell you about that game. If you played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 plus 2, this is just more of that. I know they took a lot of liberties with the soundtrack and with adding new locations and changing the gameplay formula and trying to make 3 and 4 play and look more like 1 and 2 did. And if that's controversial to you, I don't care. I grew up playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, and then I played like Underground and onward. So like Pro Skater 2, 3, and 4 to me are like kind of foreign. So to me, I don't know any better, and it's all new, and it's all, kind of nostalgic despite the fact that I haven't played it. And so I enjoy it just fine. It's good. It's fun. It's whatever. I'm not deeply in the mood for Tony Hawk right now, but I do love these games. And I did have a really good 3 or 4 hours playing it on Sunday. And that's what I did, right? And then after I was done playing Tony Hawk, I went in and I canceled my Game Pass subscription. And then as of yesterday, it expired because it just so happened that I canceled my subscription right towards the tail end of my billing cycle. So as of today, actually, the day I'm recording this podcast, I no longer have Game Pass. And this is not, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Xbox is really going to miss my $20. I'll get Game Pass again, almost certainly. And if I don't, I'll just buy my games a la carte. I actually have gone on record on this show a lot lately saying I kind of wish we could go back to buying games a la carte and that Game Pass didn't exist, because I know a lot of people weren't, and I respect it. I was completely content with everything about how Xbox was during the Xbox One generation. And honestly, if Xbox just continued to be pretty much everything it was during the Xbox One generation, but they also bought Bethesda maybe and just kind of left it at that, they formed the initiative, they bought Obsidian, and they bought Bethesda, and then they called it a day and just kept running things the way they ran things in the Xbox One generation, I would be like a fucking pig in shit. I'd be so happy. Like, that's all I need. I don't need like new flashy, we're reinventing the wheel. I just need what you had going and then just keep going. I was fine with that. But I don't know. I have been not super happy with the reality and experience of the Game Pass ecosystem for a while. And I understand my $20 doesn't make a difference. And I understand my participation and involvement in Xbox makes literally zero difference. And that, if anything, this could just be hurting the developers that make the games by not participating in the products and the services. I get all of that. But this is really just more about like, I need a break from Xbox right now. I just feel a little gross about who Xbox is and what they're doing right now. And it's not that we're done. We're not. And it's not that I won't have Game Pass again. I probably will. It's not that I won't play Call of Duty Black Ops 7 when it comes out, and Outer Worlds 2 when it comes out. Of course I will. And Ninja Gaiden when it comes out. Of course I will. But at least for a couple months, maybe like 2 or 3 months, I just need a little break. And now's a great time, conveniently, because Nintendo Switch 2 just came out. I'm fucking loving my Switch 2. And Donkey Kong comes out the day this comes out. So I am eating well over there in Nintendo land. And it makes it a little easier for me to do this. But for now, I'm going to continue to do the podcast. Everything's fine. But I'm just kind of taking a step back from Xbox for a little while, because I just don't feel great about this product, about this brand, about this company. And I just personally want to get away from it for a little bit. I just need to take a break. That's fine. So with that said, I have been playing 2 other games, and they've both been on my, I almost said Wii. They've both been on the Switch. First one is Star Wars The Force Unleashed. So Aspyr remade, ported and up-resed Star Wars The Force Unleashed to Switch a couple years ago. And I don't know why my tiny brain didn't know this, but what they brought over to Switch was an HD upgrade of the Nintendo Wii version of Star Wars The Force Unleashed. So Star Wars The Force Unleashed is one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time. Like, I'd go as far as to say, is like, to me, like, the best thing about Star Wars is the video games. So for me, as someone who grew up really not giving a shit about the movies really until Disney started making sequels, The Force Unleashed was like one of the touchstones for me of this franchise and one of my favorite pieces of media to come out of Star Wars, because the idea of just being an all-powerful, badass, evil fucking Sith Lord motherfucker, Darth Vader apprentice, just killing Jedi and running around hacking and slashing and using Force powers is fun, and it's a power trip, and it's badass, and I just loved this game. But I actually never played this game on anything other than Xbox 360. But back in those days, I used to play a lot of games on Xbox 360 and Wii, because this was during the era where if you got the Wii version and the Xbox version, you basically got two entirely different games. So I was always aware that The Force Unleashed was pretty different on the Wii, obviously motion controls, but just like level design and things in the game that happen. But I never played it. I just never got around to it. It's just one of those things. I played it many times on the 360, never played it on the Wii. So when I found out very recently that the version that came out to Switch a few years ago is actually an HD upbringing of the Wii version, I was like, that is very enticing. So I went ahead and got it the other day because it was on sale for like $7. And I've been playing through it. I'm a little over halfway through it. And I like the Xbox 360 version better, for sure. But I like this version a lot as well. And for $7, I don't regret it at all. I don't know. This is just a comfort food kind of game for me. I mean, it's like a 7-hour playthrough. It's like 10 levels. You just run around, throw heavy objects at fucking good guys, and slash them with your lightsaber. And you just rinse, repeat, while Darth Vader's like, you're a little bitch. I'm going to fake kill you in front of the Emperor to show that I'm not afraid to kill my little apprentice boy. And it's awesome. It's a badass game. It's stupid. It's fun. It's everything I wish Star Wars was. And that's really the bulk of what I've been playing, and just kind of enjoying that on the side. Now, there's one more game I've been playing, and it is DC Universe Online. Now, I downloaded this on my Xbox a month or two ago with every intention of giving it a go, and just got distracted. And then this week I was like, you know what? I think it's also on Switch too. After seeing Superman, I was like, I really want to play a Superman game or a DC game or something. But of course, there's like nothing, because DC sucks at everything and they never have fucking good movies or video games available to you. So, whatever, fuck me. But then I remembered, oh yeah, DC Universe Online came to Xbox and Wii or Switch like last year. I should go download that on the Switch too and give it a try. And so I did, and it's so funny. You can tell this is like a 15, 20-year-old game at this point that's just been updated for years and years and years, because there's something so charmingly quaint about the way it looks and plays and everything. Even though they have updated it and added to it over the years, it just still feels like a product of its time in the best way possible. But this game is really kind of, I'm like 2 hours in, but it's like really boring and redundant and repetitive, but it's also like fun to turn off your brain and play it. And so I made a character. When you make your character in this game, you choose the base of a different superhero, and then you kind of customize it. So it's like, oh, like your class base is based on Flash or based on Wonder Woman or based on Batman. And then aesthetically you can kind of customize them and stuff. So my character has the base characteristics of Superman, but he looks like Static Shock with dreads. And so I'm playing as like Black Superman / Static Shock, but whatever. It's awesome. I like my character. It's cool. But the game is like, it's like run around, fight guys, take a quest, go fight guys, kill 10 of these, destroy 5 of these machines, turn the quest, go do this. And then there's like dungeons and like main missions and stuff, and they're cooler. But so far in these early hours of the game, it's like just kind of fucking boring. It is an MMO. It's supposed to be like DC, I almost said God of War. It's like DC World of Warcraft. But I'm sure there's a shit ton to this game that I haven't even begun to scratch the surface of, but just a couple hours of dicking around in it, I'm like, I feel like it's got the characters, it's got the atmosphere, it's got the tone, it's got the vibe, but it's like not 100% doing it for me. But I am going to stick with it for a little bit and see, if I come around to it. Now, obviously I'm not going to come around to it for a little bit because Donkey Kong, but I do want to get back to this once I'm done with Force Unleashed and Donkey Kong. So that's really it for what I've been playing. Kind of a weird collection of games, but you guys, with that, I'm going to take a quick water break, and then we'll come back and do some comments. All right, we're good. We're back. Just pet my kitty, drank some water. We're good. Let's get into the best comments that of the week. The only comments we got this week. YouTube.com leaving a comment, and then I comment back from your comment. And then we read it on the podcast, youtube.com/XboxOn, at XboxOn podcast, whatever. Click on latest episode, drop a comment. I'll read it on the show. Don't be a dick. You can be mean, though. Don't be obscene. 8 comments. Here we go. All right, guys? I didn't put them in any particular order because if you can't tell, I'm just a lazy fuck. But we have comments, so let's get into them. Sam Frito comes back and says, in all seriousness, Rare currently is Rare's problem. They went from making a game or 4 or 10 every console generation to making one game every 9. That is truly not great game development the way that they were known for. Sega had the same problem with Yu Suzuki, the Shenmue guy, and AMD too. Maybe creatives need to be reined in or have their games developed by smaller teams, less than 20 people, and take less than 3 years to show something. The Perfect Dark / initiative thing is completely baffling. If I had the skills, I could certainly see what could be made with a team that talented in 2 years. Or hand that shit off to a hungry team of upstarts recently laid off from EA, WB, BioWare, Doc Dudes, etc. and leave the custom-created team of the initiative to handle the support work. It's poor management at the very root of, and secondly, greed does play a part. But it really falls into trust. Microsoft trusted Xbox, Xbox trusted the initiative, and we trusted what they showed us was shaping up into a game that had been started almost a decade ago. I weep slightly that this will sully the Perfect Dark name, but easier projects are what a new team should have approached. They made an 8-year noose and finally did something right. An unreleased game makes no money. Even I can tell you that. And Sam Frito, I appreciate your perspective a lot because I think you bring a little bit of like the cold, bitter, hard truth that may be needed to some extent. And it's totally fine to say, and I appreciate your perspective that yeah, it is true. Sometimes creatives need to be reined in. Sometimes projects are out of control. Sometimes you got to look at a studio and say, how has the culture shifted this much that we went from this level of output to that level of output, or we used to be this level of greatness and now we're all the way down here. How has this happened? But the buck always has to stop with someone, and it's not the creatives. I'm sorry, but the management of the team is the responsibility of the manager. So the head of the studios and then the head of first party. So it's just, this is why everyone always, maybe lazily like points the finger to like Matt Booty or something, but it's like, he's the guy. It's his job to make sure that the projects that he's greenlighting and that he's supporting are coming along, and that the teams have the resources and everything needed to get the job done, and that things are on time, and that, your producers are doing a good job of managing the product and making sure that you get from the pre-production into that final product phase. And so for all of these teams to be, think about all the games that weren't talked about that have been in development hell, like Fable and State of Decay 3 and all that, where it's just like they have so many of these games where it's just like, and off they go. Like every Xbox team is there right now. That's where the Coalition is. That's where 343, Halo Studios is. That's just like everyone is in that spot. And it's like, it can't be the problem of this leader or that leader. It needs to be the guy who's in charge of all these teams. Maybe it's too lax. Maybe it's not hands-on enough. Maybe there's a layer of management missing. Maybe there's too much management. I don't know what the issue is, but the people in charge of this have had more than enough time to identify the issue and address it. And that's the problem. It was like a cute talking point in 2017 when we were like, what's going on here? How is Scalebound getting canceled? Where are all these games? What happened to Phantom Dust? Why aren't there more games from Xbox? But then you fast forward to 2025, and it's like, okay, guys, the problem hasn't gotten any better. What the fuck is happening? You've had enough time to figure it out. And that's the problem. Who do they need to hire? Who do they need to fire? Who do they need to retrain? What do they need to reorganize? But it's all these questions can be answered. If you have Microsoft money and Microsoft resources and you still can't figure it out, then it becomes a matter of ineptitude. And it's like, that's kind of where we're at. And that's why people are frustrated and calling for jobs and things like that. Because it's like, what's the fucking excuse at this point? So yeah, there probably are people at Rare and at the initiative that you can blame. And I agree, that's fair feedback. And I understand where it's like, well, man, you could have put a different team together that would have, a smaller team, a more passionate team of lower ranking people who get paid way less, who would have put more work in or had more to show for after all this time and money than what we got from this team or that team. And those are probably fair statements to some extent, but the problem doesn't rest solely in the hands of the developers or of the team. It's the guy whose job it is to manage and lead the team and have the vision. the guy whose job it is to say, this is what we're striving for. This is the time frame. This is where we want to be. This is what we want to put out. This is how we're going to get there. I am going to lead you to that point, to that end point. That guy is not here apparently in all of this, because all these teams are struggling to get across the finish line with games that are made within a reasonable time frame and budget. I mean, it's just, you look at Nintendo this week talking about how they want to explore games with lower budgets and shorter development times to combat rising costs of game development. And then you contrast that with Xbox, who's just like, we can't figure it out, cancel everything. Holy shit, we burned $80 billion. You know, it's like, oh my God, figure this. I mean, God, Microsoft is sometimes way too emblematic of just this all-encompassing greed, consume, use, waste American culture in which they hail from. And I mean, like, this is it to the nth degree, man. It's embarrassing how incredibly wasteful and unkept they are, and how little they have to show for all the money and all the time and all the effort that have been pumped into all these games that are now vaporware, and it's just embarrassing. Happy Mario writes in and says, totally agree with you, Jesse. I would have been happy to pay for games and keep exclusive on Xbox. I wonder how PlayStation owners would have, if PlayStation owners would have jumped ship. Yeah, I think, honest to God, if they just never did Game Pass and kept at it, and then they acquired Double Fine and built the Initiative and acquired Obsidian and bought Bethesda and ZeniMax and all that, and just kept doing like Starfield, and you can only buy it on Xbox, and it's $70 and it's only on Xbox. Buy it here. And okay, and here's another game from Arcane, and it's only on Xbox. And here's Indiana Jones, it's only on Xbox. And here's Outer Worlds 2, and it's only on Xbox. And here's Avowed, and it's only on Xbox. And it's just $60, $70 games exclusive to Xbox. Only buy them here, only play them here. I think, you know, especially in a generation where PlayStation's like, cancel all of our live service games, we fucked up. All we have is Spider-Man and God of War. Fuck me. I mean, that would have made Xbox Series look pretty damn attractive, pushed up against PS5, but no, they couldn't do that. Instead, they had to fuck everything up with Activision and Game Pass. So this is where we are. But happy Mario, you and I, we can dream together. We can put our little heads together and dream this dream along together. And Happy Mario continues on and says, hi, Jesse. Unfortunately, it's over for me with Xbox. I just don't feel like spending any money with them. I got Game Pass until next June. I can't see myself renewing my subscription. We'll be keeping the Series S and X as I have many games on them. Going forward, it will be the Switch 2 for me. Sad times, but I'm always listening to your podcast. Going to eat some melted cheese on toast. Have a nice cup of tea. Listen, man, melted cheese on toast, isn't that just fucking grilled cheese at that point? Why do you gotta call normal things weird names? That's all I'm asking, British people. Why you gotta talk about normal things with funny names? But anyway, dude, I mean, you just heard me talk about what I'm doing similar. It's like, I respect it, man. It's like, you just gotta take that break sometimes. Who knows where it goes and where it leads, but honestly, I'm going through a similar thing with the theme parks right now. Like, I just renewed my Disney annual pass like 3 weeks ago, and it's so funny because like I have not been to Disney World since I think January. I really think it's been since January was the last time I went to a Disney theme park. It's been like half a year, and in the time I've lived here in Florida, I have gone to Disney at least a couple times a month at worst. At most, it's been a couple times a week I've gone to Disney. But I've taken a huge break from the theme parks, particularly Disney, because I've just kind of gone through a thing lately where like I'm just really fed up with a lot of what Disney's become and what they changed, and I'm just kind of a little fed up with certain things, and I just need a nice long break. And so I renewed my pass because I'm a fucking idiot. And I was like, when Test Track opens up in July, I gotta be there to ride that. But for the most part, I mean, I'm waiting for it to come back. I'm just waiting for the itch to come back. I'm not done with Disney. I'm not breaking up with Disney. I'm not canceling my annual pass or anything. But, you know I just need a break, and one day I'll have an itch to go to Disney World and do something. I'll be like, let me pop into Epcot today and fucking see this or do that. And then I'll go to Epcot and I'll be like, oh yeah, it's been a minute. Oh yeah, I missed this. Oh yeah, I love that. Oh, that's the thing I love about Disney. And hopefully it'll pull me back in, and I'll be back in. But sometimes you just need breaks from things, you know? And that's kind of how I feel about Xbox right now. It's like, I think Xbox and I just need a fucking break from each other. It's normal. I think it's healthy to take breaks from things you love, especially when those things you love are becoming a cause for frustration or disappointment. Because you're only supposed to love these things because you love them, not because you're obligated to do anything for these brands and corporations. So that's totally fine, and I respect your decision. But hopefully, Xbox can turn some things around and win some people back over, or make these temporary steps back, just that, and nothing more. But we'll see. Sam Frito writes in again and says, this week is a drinking game. I'm on 12 step because of Salty Chan. See, if I say his name, I'll relapse. Great show, such emotion. Nintendo forever, bitches. I don't know what that means, but it's a drinking game because Salty Chan. Am I Salty? Am I Salty Chan? Is that me? I don't know. Maybe I should change my name online. EA's King, oh my God, he's alive, writes in and says, hello, Jesse. I haven't listened to your podcast in a while. Wow, really going to admit that, huh? How dare you? Anyway, I graduated high school. Good to see you're doing well. You graduate high school, now we can be together, EA's King. Nope, don't say that. No, EA's King, it is good to see you, and after all these years, I'm still glad, even though your name is the AE's King 117 Pro Gamer, I always insist on calling you EA's King because, no, I'm not dyslexic, I just like saying it wrong. But welcome back, it is good to see you, it's good to hear from you, I hope you're doing quite well, congrats on getting out of high school, and, good luck to whatever's next, college, you got a job lined up, I don't fucking know, good luck to you, enjoy the real world. Inflation's bad. All right, Jay Sevier writes in I almost said British, Australian friend, or Aussie, which doesn't mean autistic, it means Australian, you fucking idiots, writes in and he says, Jesse, your well said diatribe on the state of Xbox, sorry Microsoft Gaming, is spot on. Sorry, that reads like, sorry, Microsoft Gaming, because, yeah, it's not Xbox, it's Microsoft Gaming, right? The amount of frustration and bemusement and disappointment in all that you said sums up what myself and no doubt numerous others are thinking and feeling. From the initiative in 2018 onwards, so many decisions have simply boggled the mind. With the ISPs and money they have, Xbox, whatever that means these days, should have been such an amazing been in an amazing and healthy position. But they kept fucking up. There's been moments of hope during the last 5 years, but that's all that's been. Hope. No, now though, hope is gone. What happens from here on is anyone's guess. And yeah, Jay, what's so frustrating is it's like this fucking ping-ponging back and forth because it hasn't been all despair because Indiana Jones, Starfield, Avowed, all these things, like they've been putting out games. There have been hits. There have been notable things happening in the Xbox ecosystem. If you can take Game Pass out of the equation, take the Activision deal out of the equation, if you can take the layoffs out of the equation, the inflation, the changes in the market, and just all the doom and gloom out of all of the equation and look at Xbox the past few years, it's been a lot of great games on a console I really enjoy playing on. Like, it's been great. But it's like Xbox just can't help themselves. They can't just stay out of their own way. They can't just shut the fuck up. It's always got to be some stupid bullshit getting in the way of everything. And that's what I just can't stand about Xbox. That's what's just driving me off the fucking cliff right now. It's like, dude, I liked South of Midnight. I liked Avowed. I liked Doom Eternal. Can you just shut the fuck up and leave these people alone so I can just like Ninja Gaiden and Outer Worlds 2 and enjoy my Xbox for the love of Christ? But it's like every time they do something good, they do something bad. And every time they do something bad, they do something worse. And then they do something good. And then they do something great. And then they do something bad. And then they do something horrible. And then Phil Spencer says this. And then Satya Nadella makes them do that instead. And then they release a great game. Then they release a decent game. Then they release an underwhelming game. Then they release a great game. Then they announce a great game. Then they shut down a studio. And then they kill one of the interns as a sacrifice. And it's just like, I can't deal with this up and down and up and down. You know what PlayStation does? They do bad shit all the time. But you know what they do? They keep their fucking mouth shut and we don't think about it. And Nintendo's out here just like, here's Donkey Kong. He turns into a banana now. And it's like, the banana donkey. And Xbox is just like, now we love gamers. Now we hate gamers. Now we're firing all the black people. Oops, I meant hiring all the overpaid upper management people. Now we're fucking, it's like, dude, just fucking calm down, Xbox. Get your shit together. And just like, I know at this point, Xbox isn't a brand controlled by a team of gaming related executives. It is just Microsoft pulling puppet strings. I get that that's kind of where we're at, but it reads to the world as Xbox and their incompetence. And it's just a bad look. And it just fucking sucks being an Xbox fan right now. And it has sucked for a minute. It just sucks. Anyway, Jay, thanks for writing in. EA's King, thanks for writing in. It's been good to hear from some old names. Speaking of old names with young souls, the woker Dead Captain James writes in and says, I think Xbox is slowly bleeding out and dying. It's only a matter of time at this point. We've seen this time and time with Microsoft products. It's a shame. Dead Captain James, that is a bleak and dire outlook. If that's really where you're at and you really think that's where we're headed, that this is like really the end for Xbox, or not exactly the end, but like you can really see that we're headed towards the end. I don't think you're wrong necessarily. I just think there's such a massive shift going on in the games industry, and Xbox is really the dummy that's kind of paving the way for it. Where, I mean, eventually there aren't going to be any home consoles, right? You're not going to buy a PlayStation 12, right? You know, at some point, PlayStation's going to turn into some streaming service brand or something, right? It's nothing's forever. None of this can be forever. So I think Xbox's fate is accelerating much quicker than the competition's. And if they can slow the acceleration down, they might be the first ones to the new future. But if they accelerate this process any faster than they're already going, they might boot themselves into obscurity and out of existence before they can join the others at the end of the road. Does that make sense? Like, if Xbox can bleed out a little slower, they might be the first ones to the streaming future, along with Sony. But if they just keep going at this rate, they're gonna go the way of Sega before it becomes normal for companies like Sony to abandon hardware and go all streaming, all digital. So I genuinely don't know where I think we are with Xbox, but I know it looks horrible. I know it feels horrible, and I know it's not a good time. All right, Cronky is going to round us out with the last few comments here, and he says, I'm in a very low place in regard to Xbox. I intend to avoid my console for a while now. I don't want to support the brand at the moment. Literally no one in leadership steps down or resigns. They just close teams, cancel games, as if leadership didn't drive them down the road that was doomed to fail. Final thoughts on Game Pass? It's inherently flawed. Netflix works because you watch a movie or show once, and then you move on. Video games have you engaged for a much longer period of time. Also, in this era, live service or lifestyle games dominate the industry. So only a handful, tens of millions of people will actually find Game Pass appealing anyway. All in all, it was an experiment that seems now doomed to fail. The bigger question is, how many of those amazing teams that Xbox bought will be destroyed by this? Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right? That's a multi-million-dollar question. That's the multi-billion-dollar question. How many of these teams are going to fail because they're going down with the ship because of Game Pass? That is, yeah, I think if there was a time for something like Game Pass to work better than it does now, just based on the way consumers enjoyed games, I think it probably would have been like the PS2 era into the 360 era, probably. Because that is kind of when it was like $50, play a game, 20 hours, move on with life. And nowadays it's like, subscribe to Game Pass, never use Game Pass, continue to play Fortnite with friends. And like, that's kind of the business model for Game Pass, right? So yeah, man, it just doesn't work. And I agree. You know, this weekend I watched Disney Plus. I was like, let me hop on Disney Plus and watch Guardians of the Galaxy. And 2 hours later, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was done with the movie. And then I moved on and did other things. But I can't just casually be like, let me just play Red Dead Redemption 2 for 80 hours on Sunday afternoon and then go do dishes and get ready for work for the week. You know, it's like you can't do that. It's like, okay, this is my life for a while now. I'm paying $20 a month to just kind of dedicate to this one game for a while. And then by the time you're ready to move on to something else, 20 games have left, 20 games have come on. You don't know what you're in the mood for, and oh, what about this game? Oh, it's not even on Game Pass. It's just such a different way. And then you're like, yeah, maybe I'll go try that new game that just came to Game Pass. And your buddies are like, yo, hop on Call of Duty Warzone. And you're like, okay, fuck Game Pass. But Sam Frito responded to your anecdote there and said, yeah, but I'm addicted to Game Pass now. If it goes bust, then I have to go Sony second. Then I have to get that Sony second job to buy that crazy game that I'm hooked on, or extra matte slippery winks booty. Extra matte slippery winks booty for Xbox gift cards. Thanks, bro. Love fish sticks and crayons. Seattle must change a man. A Cosby Room, Larry Herb, shipping tape, tea bags. What was the safe word? Sam Frito. We're gonna end the podcast now because that comment did something to my brain. I don't know, man. It's just not a great time. Clearly, the Game Pass thing is not working. I'm sure it could have worked better. I am confident that if there was a better way to line up the game releases and the price points and the time period and everything with the social and political and economical climates and all that, I'm sure at its best, Game Pass could have been at least twice as successful as it is. I really believe that. But even that wouldn't put Game Pass where it needs to be. Even if they had 60, 70, 80 million subscribers, it's a far cry from where they need to get to. Game Pass is not going to be the thing Microsoft needs it to be. And so it has instead shifted in the past year or two into this kind of like boutique product for people who are on Xbox hardware, but they'll make their money off the PlayStation platform instead and PC. And that's kind of where we are because people don't buy games on Xbox. They have Game Pass and that's it. And now Xbox is going to make their money by selling PlayStation consumers games because Game Pass didn't work. Game Pass doesn't work. Game Pass is not going to work. And no matter how many times people want to fight about it on Twitter and Reddit, the reality is it's not profitable, and it's the thing that's tearing Xbox apart right now. And so just is what it is. I'm not saying I have a side or a favoritism or I'm trying to push a narrative. It just is what it is. And it's fine. Game Pass is a great service. For those of us who have it and have used it, we know it's great. But is it worth everything that has gone wrong around it? I don't fucking think so. Would I rather have just bought South of Midnight and Avowed and Black Ops 6 and all these games a la carte so that people could have their fucking jobs, so we could have a games industry, so we could have a normalcy, so Xbox could continue to thrive as a brand and not have to rely on PlayStation to get by, and we wouldn't have to worry about if there's going to be an Xbox? Would that be nicer? Yes. Objectively, a million times over, yes, yes, yes. Game Pass is fantastic. I'd rather not have Activision and Game Pass if I could just have regular-ass Xbox. Give me Left 4 Dead 3. And on that note, we're going to end the podcast. You guys, thank you all so much for writing in. Those of you who write in regularly, of you who we haven't seen in a while, it's great to hear and see from all of you guys. So be well, take care of yourselves, have a great week, and until next time, power your dreams.